Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Motorsport Mosh Pit podcast. We are back. It has been a while. Boys, it's been about a month since we last recorded. A lot's happened in that time. Dan, you've got some exciting news and we've had a lot of good racing in different categories around the world at the moment. So, yeah, who wants to go first?
Well, I don't know. Who does? Well, I guess I'll go first. Yeah, it's been a pretty cool month. I guess a pretty cool excuse to be quite busy. Put your milk down, boy. Oh, God.
I'm not
No,
wasting
it's been
it.
good. Oh, my God. Hey, at least I came back with milk. I said I would, and I did, so credit
True.
to me.
Man of his word.
Man of my word, yeah.
What was the preview episode that we first recorded? This is not going well. This is definitely not going well.
Oh, that's with my audio not working.
Hey, at least we're a healthy podcast, you know?
Yeah, every episode.
Yeah, we can get away with it, though.
We are the world's first dairy-based motorsport podcast.
The fastest cream around.
Even faster
Anyway,
if you're lactose intolerant.
Look, you're not wrong. Give me Farmers Union, then I'll be faster than Kimi Antonelli. Back to reality. It's been a cool month. Obviously, I've been busy with AU4. Somehow I ended up on KO, so that was cool. Fevered, you ended up at QR as well, which is pretty cool to see. So we'll get into that. And at the moment, a 19-year-old is leading Formula One.
Quite
what's
surprised,
happening?
but it's good to see.
And by the way, and during that period, supercars haven't had a race.
Yeah, the supercars withdrawal syndrome is really kicking in at the moment, but
It has
yeah.
this toasty.
At least it's this weekend, which is good. Yeah,
we're getting there.
there's a toasty Trev helpline at the moment.
Yeah.
Once he's
It's
off
getting
for us.
more, that's getting more calls than the Welsh champion. No, Dan, for those who don't know, Dan has made his broadcasting debut at the Bend just this weekend gone. I mean, it was on KO for anyone who missed it. You can go back and watch it, I assume. Yeah, tell us all about that and how that came into me. And I'm just saying for myself personally, hopefully that opens the door for a lot more opportunities for you and LTM media. So, yeah, don't forget us.
No, I appreciate it, man. It was pretty. It's one of those experiences, that you'll sort of remember for a while. It was cool. That's all I can say, really. It was just cool. So basically, how it started was we knew that there was a deal with KO and the Bend for a while now, probably like a few months, and there was talks that we would do some work with them, but that was about it. So I was just going on my own business, and then we went to AU4 for Sydney, which was really cool. I saw Isaac. Is it on Trading Paints yet? The man himself. So I got to hang out with him. So that was cool. By the way, fun story about him before I get into that. So our commentary mate Lindsay, who commentates the AU4 series, we all stayed in the same hotel together, right? And next minute, Alex and I are playing NASCAR on the Switch, multiplayer. And next minute, I get messages saying the whole hotel can hear you. So it went from, I was like, all right, well, come on in then. So next minute, Lindsay comes in, and then 5 minutes later, Isaac comes in, and we all end up doing a time trial lap, like just time trial challenge on controller. So that was fun. Anyway, back to business though. When I got back from AU4 Monday, Ivan actually gave me a call and gave me the news that I'll be the commentator. So I got to give huge thanks to Ivan for speaking and just getting that deal done. So he was busy doing that on the weekend. So that was really cool. And then, obviously I went there, met everyone. I met the TV crew. I met all the Excel guys and stuff like that. And bada bim, bada boom. That's pretty much it. It's really cool, I must say. No milk. I couldn't find much milk on the commentary booth, but that's all right.
All right. We'll taste the success at the Bend this weekend, mate.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Close enough. So, it's good. Like, hopefully this opens the door for more opportunities. I guess stay tuned, I suppose.
yeah, it was actually like quite cool it was kind of surreal to watch, to be honest. Like, I was watching the commentary and I'm like, cool. And I'm like, hey, I know that guy. And it was like this weird thing where like you're trying to take someone seriously, but at the same time, it's like a guy and like a guy you give shit to. So it's kind of like this weird scenario where like I make milk jokes about this man, but then he's also like going in details about the racing. So but it was a really good job. Honestly, you did a really good job, mate. And I was quite excited for you.
Oh, thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah,
You
it
were
was
really
a
good.
funny. Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, it was a funny moment there. So obviously, I was shitting bricks in the Saturday morning at least, because obviously it's very daunting. There's a camera in front of me. You get on my socials, you can see what we saw. But afterwards, when I got comfortable, it felt really natural. Like it just felt like a podcast, pretty much. There's no difference. Just a camera and a mic. That's it. But there was a certain period where I was watching the race, and the headphones that they give you, you can hear the whole track and then obviously our voices. So I had my commentator next to me, Mark Nancaro, who's been doing it for about 15 or so years. I was just watching the race and listening to him talk. I was like, I'm actually in this. I got to talk. Like, I felt like I was watching TV. I was like, oh, hang on. If I don't say anything, no one will be talking soon. So, it's just just trying to remember and remind yourself that, you are the voice there. But yeah, it was so cool.
Even the Excel Nationals themselves was pretty sick to watch as well. Like just seeing all these young guns kind of come through and like massive fields from all over Australia, including my boy Ashton Edwards. Shout out. Yeah, but it was actually quite cool to watch, And yeah, it's really good that they're putting that kind of racing on decent coverage like KO. Typically, it's kind of at a really low budget live stream at the minimum, but it really shows the support categories are starting to step up, and I guess I'm sure the Bend and all that kind of stuff are really pushing those support categories and really trying to grow it in South Australia. It's quite promising.
Yeah, no, that's their focus with KOs, to put the grassroots racing scene in your living room, which obviously, they're on YouTube and stuff like that, like many categories across Australia, but no one is really on KO, which is probably what a lot of people tend to use, especially if they don't follow grassroots racing like they normally do. And the cool thing is this is the first time a lot of them got to be on TV. And it's the first time they actually had a grid walk for the XL Nationals. Like they actually got to be on the grid for the first time properly and feel like a big dog category. And I think that's really cool for a grassroots series to feel that, because obviously you don't normally get to feel that until you're in supercars. So, and also speaking of supercars, I got to bump into Ruben Goodall as well. So I had a good chat with him about his Gen 3 debut coming up. So he's a good kid.
Yeah, I personally think it's awesome that a category like XL's, like that could just be the starting point. I mean, if we can get good coverage for a category like that, what else can we get coverage for? Because it's good for those guys, because it gets their name out there, gets their brand out there, etc., and helps get them more exposure. Like, because you don't know what tier they're going to try and reach. I mean, when we spoke to Brock last time, which is ironically the last episode, it would, from my understanding, it would actually help guys, probably maybe like Brock or whoever it is in any of these grassroots categories, to, like I said, get their name out there a bit more and get the attention of like bigger teams, depending on what category they want to reach. Because as you said just before, Dan, like, a lot of these categories are on YouTube and everything else like that, but no one's really sitting on their TV watching YouTube for a couple of hours on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, but they're usually on a sports channel like KO or something like that. So yeah, I think it was when I heard it was actually happening, I thought that was quite a genius move, to be honest.
And like, even like from like getting a sponsor point of view, I think if you're a driver and you're trying to get sponsors for like an event, it's a lot easier to go, hey, look, we're on KO, rather than, hey, look, we're on some YouTube stream. And I think that in itself is really good. Like, it seems like a lot of drivers have a lot more opportunities than they used to, I guess. And it's a lot easier to sell a bit of a return on investment, which is cool. But one thing I guess KO needs to look at is the Content Creator Cup coming up at some point. TV rights for that will be well sought after.
Yeah, I got to work on my straight line slipstream.
Excited already.
I swear to God, if you two are leading with a lap to go and I'm in third place, look out.
Oh God,
that's all right. I'll be a couple laps ahead anyway.
I've learned from the videos. I got to stop being nice. I'll just crash him out.
You're gonna crash you.
How good was the race? I don't know if you guys caught much of it, but the XL race was really, really exciting. Like, I actually really enjoyed calling it, especially the 54 car grid. It was just, everything was happening at once. It was really insane.
It was wild. Like, I expect like grassroots racing, typically, like there's always like a couple of people who just like pull 10 seconds in front of everyone and then that's kind of it. But the Excels were all over the show, and just having 54 cars on, a track like the Bend where it's so wide and there's so many opportunities to pass. And, I guess it's just a bunch of young people giving it a crack as well. Like it was actually quite a good little spectacle to watch. You had people spinning out left, right, and center at the old rollover and all that kind of stuff going on. But because the speed's so slow, you think it would be more boring, but I think that didn't really affect it, really.
No, well, the cool thing is, Macca, is because drafting is so important in these XLs. You could just see them. Obviously, you saw them follow the line. Everyone was following the same line, but the amount of speed you can get from following a car, like you can lead the final couple corners, but you won't be leading turn one. That's the beauty of it. It's just so exciting. And then it's literally NASCAR with multiple corners, with actual proper driving.
You mean they turn right and
No.
left?
Exactly. But they're still drafting at the same time.
Formula One, take note.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, this weekend just gone was actually quite a big weekend in motorsports, not just in the world stage, but Australia as well, because obviously you were down at the Bend, I was down at QR for the SpeedSeries, but also they had the Sydney 300 on as well.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, I know you said Australia, but worldwide was just nuts as well. Because obviously we had Formula One and Le Mans and NASCAR as well. By the way, because of the Bend, I haven't seen anything other than Formula One. But I've seen bits and pieces.
Yeah, I was definitely watching a bit of the Le Mans 24-hour. Like, I'm always a little bit of a sucker for that. And yeah, it's so the hypercar regulations right now, and I know there's like LMDH or whatever, and all the different things, but the whole thing, and there's all these different manufacturers coming together and competing. It's just so good to watch. And like, yeah, sure, like Toyota ended up winning, spoiler alert, but it's bloody Tuesday when we're recording this, so
if you didn't watch it, it's your own fault.
Yeah, but the fact is, like, there was so many different cars in competition in contention for the lead over a 24-hour race, and even like 3 hours ago, there's only a couple of seconds between second and first. It was just such a good watch, and I was like, you know what, this is actually pretty good. It's just because usually in those 24-hour races, towards the end, it's like, okay, this guy's gonna win. There's like 5 hours left, but this was like for a long time, and it's good to see De Vries kind of climb his way back into a serious driver role. Obviously being not from Formula One, he lost a fair bit of a reputation, and the fact that he's come back and he's now a Le Mans 24-hour winner is you got to give him a pat on the back.
For sure, absolutely. Because obviously, sorry, Phoeben, I think Formula One just sort of ruined his confidence a bit after being sacked, which is right, understandable. And obviously he's been doing a bit in Formula E, but not many people can win a Le Mans 24 hours. So I reckon this will be a boost for him for sure, and I think he's found his home.
I was going to say, one thing I do like about Le Mans 24-hour, like what you said, Macca, it's the amount of manufacturer involvement and so many different makes of car going and competing for. But I think it was, I can't remember how many hours it was left to go. I think it was about 5 or 6 hours left, and they said there was about the top three were only separated by a few seconds. Like, that's just nuts. But when you mentioned Nick De Vries just then as well, the one thing I really do like about Le Mans is look at the amount of guys who have had a crack in Formula One, have not really gone there and set the world on fire, or they've had a tough time, just never got the results that they were chasing, obviously, because they all go there to win, obviously, well, that's why you're racing. But then they go to an event like Le Mans and look at the amount of F1 drivers who have actually done really well there. Like, whether they've won the race or they've finished on the podium or they've got class wins, like, it's, for an event like that, it's really a good opportunity to show what kind of caliber of driver a lot of these guys are, even if they don't make it in what's considered the pinnacle of motorsport or anything else for that matter.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because obviously Jack Doohan debuted this weekend. I'm not too sure where he finished, so I'm sorry, but it's cool to see. It's cool to see him there too, because obviously he lost his role at Formula One well before he should have. He didn't get to even prove himself. So yeah, I'm glad to see. Yeah, you're right. Because Jamie Chadwick as well got to, I think, race, what she raced LMP2, LMP3, something like that. But it was really cool.
She got the hyperpole, which is pretty impressive.
I got to ask, Phoeben, how was the SpeedSeries?
SpeedSeries. Yeah, that's the second year I've gone now. So I went to last year's one and went to this year's one. One thing I noticed straight off the bat, this year seemed a lot busier, which was good. So that's a good sign and showing that, like, when you mention motor racing to even the average Joe Blow on the street, they think, oh yeah, V8 supercar, all this and whatnot. But apart from guys like us, but if you mention like a GT3 or GT4 car, they look at you and go, huh? Like, what's that? And you show them, like, oh yeah, fair enough. But yeah, it was good to really see more of an interest in that kind of racing. GT3, I think we're down on numbers this year compared to last year. I think the same as GT4. GT3 race was all right. GT4 definitely put on a good show. Even though the last race on the Saturday, I think the safety car did more laps than the guys themselves. I think the officials were throwing the safety car for pretty much anything at one point, but it was actually raining at that point too. Wasn't torrential, but it was enough to make cars slide off the road everywhere. But yeah, those got the GT4 guys, they go hard. I don't know if you saw the video I threw together from the event, but I'm standing at the grandstand at turn 3. Yeah, turn 3. And they're like 3 or 4 wide going into the braking area. I'm just like, someone's going to die here if you're not careful. Like, but yeah, and then also there was the Mustang Cup, which was good to watch, even though they only had about 10 or 11 cars, I think. There weren't that many. And then they had the Radicals, and then they had the Porsches as well. But the highlight for me of the event for me was the GT4 cars. I've always had a soft spot for that type of racing. The event itself, the way it was organised, yeah, Shannon SpeedSeries, they do a really good job of setting up the event. And obviously, like we've mentioned so many times before, I sound like a broken record, but obviously nowhere's really off limits with your ticket, so you can just walk up to the back of the pit. So I actually had to give a shout out to the organisers. Shout out to the people who run the Shakedown Facebook group. Organised a couple of pit tours for myself and a few others, including the missus. So we got to see Tagani Motorsports GT3 program, and who was it? Who was the GT4 car? I think it was Jed Murphy from memory. I think that's his name. Yeah, so I got to go and see all that. So, yeah, but the event as a whole, really, really good. Like I said before, I think supercars can probably learn a little bit, but someone did also make the good point. Like, if you allowed that amount of access at a supercars event, you'd just get every bogan just going everywhere they shouldn't. But
so how many types of yoga did you have to perform to get into that GT4 car?
Oh, God. Actually, getting in the car wasn't so bad. It's obviously tight squeeze, bend it. Obviously, you know the drill. Bend down, feet in first, get your ass in the seat. Then once you're in there, it's fine. My problem was because I'm like 6'4", nearly 6'5". I'm ridiculously friggin' tall, as you know. Getting out of the car was the problem, because where the roll bar comes down just outside the A-pillar of the door, it protrudes out a bit. So I had to literally grab my leg and fold it like and nearly break the thing just to get it out of the door. And then the funny part, my missus has got it on video. I have to send it to you. When I got most of myself out of the car, they've got the pedal box, and I don't know if this is a thing with all race cars or just most of them, but they got the pedal box, and then they've got like this steel plate, and there's a bit of a gap between the seat base and the steel, and my right foot actually got caught as I was getting out of the car. So I kind of had to like really go back in just to put my foot and get out of it, and the whole pit crew's laughing at me and all the other people, and the missus is just wailing. And I turned around and I said, yeah, I don't think an endurance Bacchus call-up is in my future anytime soon. And someone's just like, yeah, mate, it's like, they say 15 seconds for a driver change, not 2 minutes 15. Like,
see, I'm not that tall, so I think I should fit okay compared to you both of you.
Well, the thing is, when I got in the car, it felt really good. I was just like, I get used to this. Like, the seat wasn't too uncomfortable, and the steering wheel position was really good. But I thought, if I went to drive this thing, I couldn't actually do a full rotation of the steering wheel, so I'd just be hitting my chest. Like,
yeah, fair.
So I think I need
So
to
what
maybe
you're saying
leave.
is
feel
there,
every corner.
Maybe
There
need to
won't be
leave
a
a few
motorsport
kilos.
GT4 car.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe you'd have to like take out everything in the rear parcel shelf just to get me in to get it sitting one of those things. Just like,
It's like you remember when Jeremy Clarkson went to hop into that Formula car?
yeah,
I think with Richard Hammond that time. Yeah,
that's essentially what it was like. And all I could actually is, it's funny you say that, because that's what was going through my mind when I was trying to get out of the car. And all I could picture was just like someone just saying, "Have you tried being less fat?" Like, but no,
Yeah,
Speed
that's fun.
Series. Yeah, I was gonna say Speed Series are really good event. If no one's ever been to Shannon's Speed Series, when they go around to whoever, I can't remember what the next round is. I think might be down at Sandown. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, for anyone who's never been, I might definitely recommend it. The value for money. For what you get in the amount of
Darwin's the
racing.
next one.
Oh, Darwin. No, sorry. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah.
Because the Porsches finished on the Saturday, because they had their first race on the Friday afternoon and they did their final race on the Saturday morning because they said that they were literally leaving the track that same day to go back to their home bases, unload the trucks, reload what they needed, and shoot back off to Darwin. So
Oh yeah, of course, because Supercars is this weekend. Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
Finally,
I remember
by the way.
that. Yes, I remember.
Remember
saying-
Supercars?
Yeah, remember
Yeah.
Supercars? Yeah.
Yeah, that
But no,
category.
I will say, I just want to be brutally honest for 1 second. Have either of you watched Radicals race like in person?
Yes, I have. I did
Well-
some media work for Volante Rosso last year.
I don't know if
Well, I don't
anyone-
think that was. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if anyone who listens to this show is a fan of Radicals. I think they're a pretty cool car to look at, and I'm sure they're fun to drive. But my God, they had an hour-long race on the Saturday, and I was honestly contemplating life in the last 15 minutes. Like,
How many cars were there?
it wasn't very many. It might have been probably between 10 and 15 at a guess. Like
Okay.
I've got photos somewhere on my phone of the event pictures I took from the event. I think I've got most of it. I think I've got like 95% of the field in that one shot in turn one. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I'm
Yeah,
sure
right.
I'm sure they're a fun car to drive, and the guys who race them must love them. And I'm not shitting on them like to that extent. But had that have been my only criticism from that weekend was categories like that. They've got such a huge field spread. I think I saw one overtake the entire race from what I was watching. I can only remember one overtake.
Yeah, right.
My criticism from that weekend is they should have been given a shorter, because they had an hour-long race on the Saturday. I think it may have been the same on the Sunday. Like, obviously, if you've got only a select few amount of categories and you don't want to have people sitting around bored, you're going to give them longer races. I understand. Them and Mustang Cup, the criticism I did have was the field spread across those two categories was just shot, and they probably only had a handful of cars. Like, had they short, sharp races, I reckon they would have been a lot more entertaining. Again, it's not up to me to say to category managers and organizers and whatnot saying, you should do this, you should do that, rah, rah. Like, I'm just saying that as an opinion, but I'm not saying you need to fucking do that. It's like, because this was boring as crap to watch, like some other people. Like, no,
You're not going full Facebook bogan.
No. Like, that's just my opinion. Like, I think had it been a shorter, sharper race, it would have been a lot more fun to watch. But over an hour, it's just, oh god, this is boring as shit.
Yeah,
Do you
fair.
think potentially like the field isn't of the same level of quality? Like, I know Mustang Cup's new for this year, so I guess it's got to take that time for that
Oh,
to
definitely.
build. But I guess Radicals have been around for a significant period of time now, so I guess that could be a big factor and why there's such a big spread.
Yeah, I think even last year with the Radicals at SpeedSeries, they were probably the least enjoyable category to watch. Like, like I said, they're a cool car to, like, I think the concept of them is, or the racing itself, like, from what I've watched, they're just not that entertaining. But again, that's nothing against anyone who owns them or drives them or who runs the category. Like, it's each to their own. It's awesome we've got that many different categories in this country as far as an entertainment spectacle. But I do, what you said about Mustang Cup, I do think Mustang Cup does have a lot of promise, like, especially for like a close-knit one-mate category. Yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on it, and hopefully it really does start to take off. But yeah, they were down on numbers too, so hopefully that doesn't mean anything. But yeah, I'll see what
Yeah, because
Yeah, fingers crossed.
you look at the drivers and the Mustang Cup, and some of them are actually like pretty well established. Like, even GRM has fielded a few cars, and I think in the first round and whatnot, they had
like even
Moffat
even the
and
way
Cameron and Golding.
like even the way the cars are prepared, like I will give them marks for that. The way the cars are prepared and the way they're presented, like, seem like a really cool concept, and like not one of them actually looked like it's just like, oh yeah, this guy's just scraping together enough money to run a Mustang. It's just like, no, the class of the field is really well presented.
Yeah, like I follow one of the drivers, Imogen Redburn, and like the way that she's working with sponsors and all that, trying to get the money to get the team going and all that kind of stuff. You see that all on her socials and the way she's working on everything. It's like really professional, and you kind of forget the fact that it is probably the worst term to use, but like a lower tier of the speed series, and that level of professionalism there is really exciting. And considering it's the first year of it, like I'm just really looking forward to seeing how it goes forward.
And the 888 backing as well, with obviously Jack Perkins, and I think Ollie Wickman is their newest recruit. I don't know if he's racing a Mustang Cup or not, but yeah, 888's their commitment to the series as well is really cool. So no, I agree. Obviously, it takes a while for a category to grow, but yes, they might be smaller numbers, but next year they probably won't.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
86 took a while to properly get as big as it is now. So I can see that happening because I see it as Ford's version of the Cup Series, so
Yeah,
that's where I see a future for it. So see what happens.
Definitely. But but this is just, I don't know, you guys can agree or disagree with this point, but with categories like, I think they just shorter, sharper race, if that makes sense. Just maybe 20 minutes for each time they race, or maybe even half an hour. But like because they were both an hour race, and like again, I'm bagging the Speed Series event or anything else like that, or anyone involved. It's for cars like that. It was just the entertainment value probably just wasn't there. Yeah, but that's just my personal gripe. But the one thing I did really like. I was going to say, the one thing I did really like about the 888 cars was the fact that they had both the supercars numbers 88 and 888. It's good to see that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Like just saying what you were just going back on what you were saying about how long the races are for a series like that. I feel like the GT3, GT4 classes should be the only ones that are long, where the others should just be sprints, because obviously they are support categories at the end of the day. And because you see that in supercars, the only other category besides from supercars and Super 2 is Porsche Carrera Cup that has a lengthy race. And that usually is still exciting anyway. Yeah. But most of them are like 8 laps long, like 10, 15-minute races. It's that's all you need. Like even this weekend at the Bend, obviously it's all grassroots, but every single race was about 15 to 20 minutes long, and I feel like that's all you need. We still got plenty of action. There was Aussie Racing Cars only had 4 cars actually properly racing, and that racing was actually quite exciting. So it's a hit and miss with some categories, of course. But I reckon, shorten the races a bit and just make it a flat out sprint.
Yeah, I think for events like that too, sprint racing more exciting. Like obviously, like you said, your GT3, GT, and those would be the ones you give the longer races to. But I think on the Saturday, the Porsches had 40 or 50 minutes, but that was pretty still entertaining to. But then it was like everyone got a fair go. I understand that, and I actually liked it. But again, it just comes down to the car that's being raced. If you ask me, again, like people will agree or disagree. I think some cars shorter races where it's just a flat out sprint, and others do obviously suit the longer style racing.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, like imagine if they did like a 500-kilometer race in Aussie racing cars. Actually, that'd be kind of sick, to be honest.
Would they even last that?
Probably not. Not in one sitting, I would imagine.
No, it would just be like you I don't know. You'd be seeing engine swaps in like the pit lane, like halfway through.
Mind you, some of those guys can swap those engines pretty bloody quickly these days.
I just had an idea of how you could have an Aussie car endure. So what you do is the exact halfway point, the 250 Ks. Everyone jump into the second. Yeah, so every team has to bring 2.
It'd be like Formula E, and it's like first couple of seasons. And they swap cars halfway through. And...
like just do the swap over, or even like MotoGP where they do the flag to flag races where the rain's coming, so they switch to the wet weather bike. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention too about the Speed Series is post round dump got some cheap advertising throughout the event. So if you
did he did as well on KO as well.
Spreading the dump nationwide.
Yeah, so did another Facebook page, but we won't say any more about.
Yeah,
yeah, I can't say any more about that. Just have the bleeper going for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, it just ends up being cut, and it just says, "P.S. We got a cease and desist." We're currently in court.
So next time anyone's in the toilets at QR, see if you can land the right cubicle where someone may or may not have left
a couple of dumps. Oh my god.
So imagine if it's like Tony Quinn, he's like in there just cleaning the bathrooms or something, because I've heard he's quite into that. And he's just like, what the fuck is that? Like, what is a post-round dump?
Can you imagine if he surfs up post-round dump and just like goes, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
To be honest, he probably would after our latest article.
Yeah, he probably
About
would. He'd
Queensland
probably start
Raceway.
following it.
It's hilarious. Speaking of Tony Quinn, he mentioned there's going to be an extension to QR.
Yeah, we already broke that news on
post-round
post-round
already
dump.
covered.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, but we
Oh.
haven't spoken about it on the
true.
the milk mosh bit.
Well, I can't reveal too much of the information, obviously, but we can go off what Tony Quinn said.
I actually quickly just brushed past the Tony Quinn article, not the post-round dump one, because I think that's legit. And it needs to.
I was goaded.
Did they actually touch on what they said the proposed extension?
Yeah, somewhere in turn 2.
Where would they extend it?
No idea. I joked with Ivan is they'll just add a chicane there. Extension, you know?
It also is Tony Quinn, so like, I don't know, I feel like he'll do something mad, like, let's just chuck a NASCAR corner in there, like full-on cambered oval, I don't know.
There's just a
'Cause, like,
ramp.
Because like, you see...
No, you'll just see QR. You'll just see QR get like elevated, and it'll just become the new Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Because
Hey, don't give him ideas. He'll do it.
honestly, do it. Tony, I dare
it.
you.
Tony,
Don't be a pussy.
We dare you.
But yeah, like Tony, from what I've seen, what he's done in New Zealand with Highlands and with Hampton Downs, like he seems like the kind of guy that would just do some crazy stuff just because he can. Like he's a racer, he knows what he's doing. I mean, like some of the corners at Highlands are absolutely wild, and then because the extension he did to the Hampton Downs circuit, put in the double bastard, which is just like a never-ending corner, hence the term double bastard. It really did elevate a lot of that track and create some new character to it. So I'm quite excited to see what he could do there in terms of extension. At the same time, like the racing at Queensland is usually pretty good, but like what I guess my issue is like why extend it? You know, unless you're wanting to have like 2 track day events on at the same time and kind of split it, like you can do it like in Tupelo, for example. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
I don't really think it needs to, though, personally.
No, I'm not sure how they go about extending the track out further, because beyond turn 2, like obviously they'd have to clear it, but most of that's like all bush and like I think privately owned land is from memory. If I was TQ, I wouldn't touch the track. I'd maybe I don't know when the last time it was resurfaced. Like if it needs a resurfacing, do stuff like that. But I would just add more permanent grandstand with because they've got like a few of the obviously you've been to QR, Dan, you know what it's like. You've up the top where you can watch on top of the pits and everything else like that, and you've got like the shade sails and stuff at turn 1, turn 2. Then down the back at turn 3, they've got an uncovered grandstand. But I think going forward, if I was in charge of Queensland Raceway, I'd just make most of that back section grandstand and whatnot. But again, how would they do that? Because they'd have to be careful how to do that too, because they've got the perimeter road that goes right around basically the whole track, and that's where people, if it's events like Drift Matsuri or Power Crew or even supercars when they go to Ipswich, you've got the option of on track parking as which is quite unique for that track as well. So I don't know how they go about it. But they did a lot of landfill and just like leveled everything.
I'm just having a look at the bird's eye view. There's actually a lake at turn 2, like just outside turn 2. So you can't obviously get rid of that.
Yeah, because there's a little like
bridge.
It's like the small little it's like the small dam between turn 1.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So they might actually end up making a chicane. Because that's pretty much all you can do.
Oh, I forgot to tell you there was that. Yeah, we had that. I think they were worried about ducks crossing the track on the Saturday as well, because there was just a whole bunch of ducks sitting in the infield. So can you imagine having a supercars race and it's just like safety car because there's just like a random duck walking across the track. We've had safety cars for Echidnas at Bathurst. We're just waiting for a duck to be crossing the circuit.
Yeah.
But
maybe Tony Quinn's just shit posting and he's turn 2, and all they're going to do is like slightly widen turn 2 or something like that.
That's what I mean. They're just going to add a chicane there.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
Yeah, so you wouldn't even have to widen turn 2, do you? You wouldn't have to widen any corners on that track, to be honest. The one thing that's just so deceiving about QR, until you actually go there in person, you don't understand how big the place is.
Mm.
Like, it looks pretty simple and basic on TV, but when you go there, you're just like, cool.
It is surprisingly big. Yeah, I agree. I quite like it as well. I think it's perfect size. What they could do, though, I'm having a look at the bird's eye view. They could literally, obviously the infield is more like, is quite, there's a hill there. But they could literally just, at the end of turn 1, make a couple corners out of there, extend inwards. They could easily make that work. In terms of extend outwards, I don't think there is any room really, unless you're knocking down all those trees. But
Why don't they
I think
go
it's-
full Oran
I don't know.
Park and
What,
just
build a house
bridge
on
it? Build a house on it.
Just have a house smack bang right in the middle of the friggin' track, and you've got like a bird's
now we
eye
pass
view
the-
of, like every motorsport event.
And now we go through the kitchen section.
Some
And
boomer
here
like,
we have
keep the noise down.
Yeah.
And he's
That's
gonna go
my grass you're on.
I can just hear it now. Can you imagine? It's just, he's going to get him under brakes into toilet chick.
And now they're heading into bed. And they come together.
Ugh.
Blow that one out.
First episode back in a month, and we're getting cancelled for sure this time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
A bit of an unrelated topic. Saw that Renee Gracie was the first woman to win in GT in Australia.
Yeah,
Mm,
yes,
that was cool.
as much as people give her crap, like, I will take my hat off to Renee Gracie, because, like, obviously I was there for that race, and once she got out in front, there was no looking back. Like, it would have taken something catastrophic for them to not, like, her and Will Davis, like, and it was good to see Will still getting race wins in another category, even though, because he's not in supercars full time. But yeah, good to see that result. So yeah, as much as Renee Gracie is a controversial figure, but credit where credit's, like, she's obviously got the car underneath her now, and she has gone out and proved that she can be up the front. So yeah, I think more power to her, to be honest. But there's gonna be some people who just be like, she's using OnlyFans to be able to go fast bits. It's just, if you want to go,
Yeah, but everyone else, I'll put it into perspective. Everyone else who is rich and races uses their own business to race, right? Renee Grace is doing the same thing. It doesn't change anything. At the end of the day, that's her business. That's what's paying for the racing. And she's always been talented, but she was never, I don't think when she joined supercars, it was a good fit for her. Obviously, she struggled during her time there. But as soon as she switched to GTs, I remember her in that Audi, she was actually quite promising. And obviously shows now with I believe she's in a Ferrari now, isn't she? She's in from memory. So it's good to see. It's good to see.
Yeah.
But, speaking of, go on.
Yeah, you're right. I was gonna say, yeah, it's a redemption story for her, and showing that the prancing donkeys can win something, apart from Lewis on the other day.
Well, do we want to talk a little bit about that? Because that was quite a big news. I guess Lewis winning for Ferrari for the first time. Sprint wins don't count. Piss off.
Yeah.
And
after
the shit show of Ferrari,
I've actually got some intel that Ferrari went and fired all the Italians, and that's how they won the race on the week.
Well, you see, they fired their strategists and McLaren hired them.
Well,
I heard that they
That's why McLaren's gone backwards.
Exactly, yeah.
I heard that they misplaced their Formula One strategies, and they ended up using the Le Mans team, and then the F1 team went to the Le Mans team.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, just completely reversed.
That makes complete sense.
Because, like, honestly, towards the end of that race, Lewis was on fire, and I was just like, you know what, the old bloke's still got it. Like, I'm usually pretty 50-50 about Hamilton over the years, but it's good to see him at the top and kicking ass again. And I think the world's a better place when you see Ferrari on top, even if you're not a Ferrari fan.
I mean, it's been 500 odd days since we last had one.
Jesus.
So it's been a minute. Like, I think Monaco 2024 was the last one.
No, it was Austin,
Signs, wasn't it?
No, it was Mexico or Texas.
Okay. Still too long ago.
Yeah, it was the end of 2020. It was Austin. It was.
I tell you what, Richie would be happy.
Oh yeah, Richie.
Yeah.
I actually haven't heard from him, so I'd say he's still, like, on the come down. One, it's a Ferrari win, but also two, it's Lewis.
Yeah. I said to Ivan, because obviously he's just over the moon. Well, I said all this has now done is made Ferrari fans psychotically delusional because they're already delusional. But now that they have had actually a really, really good race, and now that Kim Kardashian is part of the team and their strategist, they're now even more crazy.
The big question is really
do not get me started on Kim Kardashian.
The thing is, like, I think Hamilton's got it all against him because not only has he got the curse of the Ferrari, but he's also got the curse of Kim Kardashian. Like, if you look at
he's dating a walking red flag.
And his flag is the car at the moment.
Every person she's dated has had a massive flop afterwards.
So I think this could be the final celebration before we see the complete and utter down and just sad walk away from Formula.
But at the same time, can he be the man that breaks the curse, arguably making him the GOAT?
Well, if two curses, can they counter themselves and just cancel it out?
Maybe.
We'll have to wait and see.
Maybe the Ferrari strategists have found that out.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe the strategist actually got Lewis with her.
But on that whole thing though, like, it was good to see a non-Mercedes car win because they've been so far in this season, and full props to Mercedes and Kimi Antonelli. I was actually a bit gutted to see Kimi not put a dent in his top points deficit. I still think he's the one to beat, like, even though it's reduced down to 41 points now after Lewis. But it's like, again, it's still very early days in the championship, but it takes something catastrophic for him to not win it. What he's both said about how I think it's good for the sport to see him back on the top again, because statistically the best of all time. Actually, the best, I would actually argue about that, but we'll save that for another round. As you both know, I've got very mixed feelings on Lewis. I think he's a fantastic driver. I think what he's done for the sport and what he's achieved is absolutely incredible. Lewis himself, I've never really been a huge fan. Like, it was a bit hard to like him even when he wasn't. The ones slightly that's got me offside is when everyone's, he's back, he's going to come back and win his stolen eighth champion. I don't think he's got another title. I'm just going to say it now. I don't think he's got another champion. I think he's still got a couple of race wins left in him, but he's now reached that point. It happened to guys, let's take supercars for example. It went for guys like Jamie Whincup, Craig Lamb, or even Peter Brock in the end of his career, Dick Johnson, or let's go, who else in whatever category? Let's take NASCAR, for example, Jimmy Johnson or Jeff Gordon and whatnot. Like, they still, or even MotoGP, Valentino, just people off the top of my head, like, they were still fast. They hadn't forgotten but there was just towards the end of their careers. And let's be honest, Lewis has been around for 20 years now. He's not going to be around for much longer. I'll be surprised if, I don't think he'll do what Fernando. You have to accept the fact that those wins are going to become less and less. It's just how it all goes. Like, I think he's still capable of winning races, but another title, I think those days.
I'd like to see him, because I agree. I think if this year's going to be Kimi's year anyway. He's my go-to for the title. But I'm hoping to see at least Hamilton actually be there and be able to fight for it, because I think that'll be good for Formula One to have Ferrari back up in contention to win a championship. But yeah, I do agree. I don't think anyone's going to beat Kimi in terms of the title. And they said, like, everyone who has won 5 races in a year has gone on to win. So Kimi currently has that. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I'm just hoping we have a good season, because obviously these regulations have hurt the season, hurt the reputation of the year. But we've had a couple good moments, and I'm hoping we see more moving forward.
Yeah, it hasn't been a total
especially
flop like we were predicting.
Yeah,
I think especially heading into like the European League, there's going to be a hell of a lot more updates to all the cars, and you're already starting to see that now already with like Ferrari coming on with their updates on their chassis for Barcelona, and look at them, they're doing bloody decent. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Upgrade.
Yeah. Like, and apparently they're down a bit, but they've got the best chassis. So if they can sort their engine out, they're going to be right up there.
Oh, absolutely. And
but one thing I didn't understand though is they've got their like engine parity, whatever they call it, and they were saying that the Red Bull engine is actually the best engine, like the Ford engine, and that's why it's getting the less I guess, budget to develop
I'm
and fix.
confused on that. Are they meaning just the engine itself and not the combined power of the?
I believe it's both. Yeah,
Mm.
like the combined power unit. Oh, yeah.
It was interesting because obviously the Mercedes power unit was regarded as the most reliable. And
Yeah, I
efficient.
think because I went for a basic read of it, and from what I could understand, it's kind of quite heavily based on race results on the average. And if you look at Mercedes, like the Mercedes team are obviously doing bloody well. But you look at McLaren, you look at who else is there? Alpine. They're doing right, but they have been pretty inconsistent. Whereas you look at someone like Red Bull and Racing Bulls, they're having pretty good seasons this year so far. Not obviously as best, but they seem a lot more closely paired. So I think it's something to do with that.
Yeah, I would have to read a bit more into it to get a better understanding. But that surprised me when they said the Red Bull power was the best. I don't know what they're exactly measuring. Like I said, I haven't read into it properly yet. But yeah, that was a bit surprising.
So apparently, I'm just having a look here. It's Red Bull. It's the ICE. So ICE.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, so it's the engine. Yeah.
Yeah. So Red Bull's ICE had a higher rank ahead of Mercedes. So okay, that's interesting.
So what are they basing that off? Are they basing off power or reliability? What?
Says they haven't clarified how they're measuring it because it's FIA, so they don't like to tell us anything.
That's the same organization who reached an engine agreement with Ferrari at the end of the 2019 season over there. Engine, and next year Ferrari was nowhere. So nothing surprising.
Maybe Red Bull didn't give Benny Boy as much money as the likes of Mercedes and Ferrari.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe we should send Benny Boy $50 motorsport sponsorship deal so we can get featured on Formula One television.
Next thing you know, Dan's bloody replacing Crofty.
Oh, if I do, then I'm going to be wearing a motorsport mosh pit shirt.
I'll just say I'll happily take Jacques Villeneuve's job because I'm pretty sure I couldn't do any worse than that crap he talks.
You know, when I got home from the Bend Sunday night, I was like, oh, yeah, F1's on tonight. I might tune in. You know, it was still an hour before the race. I was like, let's see what's going on. As soon as I saw his face, I switched it off. I was like, I am not watching this piece of shit.
I'm very 50-50 on him, mate. Like sometimes, most of the time, I'm like, what a dickhead. But then
it could be worse. It could be Danica Patrick.
Oh, it could be both of them. Could you imagine?
The one thing I loved about when you'd see Danica Patrick on there all the time is watching Jensen Button's reaction.
Yeah.
Just like the subtle looks you give the camera is just like, get me out of here.
Like, help me.
Help me. Like, if anyone can become a meme, it's Jensen Button.
Yeah. Well, because Villeneuve mentioned about Piastri, how he's like a forgotten driver now. I'm like, all right, I'm all right. Calm down, mate. He's not that far away from Lando.
Out of all the people to know what a forgotten driver is, it's probably Villeneuve.
Exactly.
One thing I've noticed, though, is he's always been like that when it comes to Aussie drivers, though. Like, he used to smash Ricciardo when he was still there. I think this is going back about, when did Webber retire? 2013. So that's probably, 13 years ago
2013,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, and I can vaguely remember him smashing Webber at the time, if he was ever interviewed about him. It's just like, what do you got against Aussies, mate? Like who woke up and took a shit in your cornflakes?
He only won the championship in 97 because Schumacher had a hissy fit. Let's be real.
Let's be real. Like,
and he was forgotten after that point.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
you could also remember that, sorry, I was going to say, you could also remember Jacques Villeneuve as a meme because he tried a singing. Did you?
Yep. I did not, but I don't actually want to know anything about it.
Go on YouTube. He actually started a singing career. I am not.
Yeah,
I don't know if I want to because, Jesus, it's going to be on Spotify. You know, that's the theme tune to Motorsport Mosh Pit.
Mr.
Please, no.
We'll give you some Motorsport Mosh Pit stickers for the
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, a couple of Motorsport Mosh Pit stickers got left around QR on the Saturday too, just quietly. So for anyone's
I need
listening,
to print LTM ones out.
Yeah, well, if you do, just send them through to me. So because we're off topic here, but I've got another 2 events happening at Queensland Raceway in the next few months. I've Rock's next round QR, which is in August, and then I've got Supercars Ipswich. But speaking of, we actually had a lot of really good feedback about that. Like, even who was it? The category manager of TA actually gave us some feedback. It was just like, that's awesome. Like, so like, that's really humbling, to be honest.
Yeah, it's cool. And that was I actually really enjoyed doing that episode too. You know, it was a great insight and with Brock, and it was cool.
Even though it's just like three guys talking absolute garbage.
Yeah, but that's all it is. At the end of the day, you know, that's what people enjoy.
Yeah,
you know what people don't enjoy is Jacques Villeneuve singing, which I'm having a look at now without audio, but I can just hear it already.
It's probably his music's a bigger hit than his buddy 360 spin at the Gold Coast in, was it 2010?
Oh, was that when he was in the Kelly? Was he in the Greg Murphy?
The Pepsi
Nah,
Max.
the Bolo car at Tickford when they had the Gold Coast races.
Because he came in because didn't he sub for Greg Murphy partway through 20?
Yeah, later on.
He did, yeah. That's in the
when he had
Pepsi
his
Max
back
one.
injury.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah, that's
right. He did it in
Dark days.
Townsville from memory.
But he also had a stint with Tickford, I think.
Yeah, for the Gold Coast Enduros.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I miss those. I miss that. Like, even though we still got the Gold Coast racing, but I miss the Enduro with the international.
Oh, there's something special about seeing everyone from overseas compete in it. Like, it was so unique, and it made it more spectacular.
This is what people like Mika Salo and like, you know, like people who are like probably not given enough of a shout out really, and seeing them like battle against some of the best drivers in Australia and actually doing pretty decent. It was such a good watch.
Yeah.
Even
I
though it was
agree, 100%.
definitely at one point.
It probably cost too much, yeah, because there was some pretty gnarly crashes. Like, remember the GRM car that decided to do a bit of on the front straight?
Was it Ricky Taylor, I think, from memory?
Yeah, Ricky Taylor,
so.
yeah, that's right.
I still remember when 2013 where Murphy lost his shit because he got pushed by Dumbrell.
Yeah, Courtney and
was that
Murphy and
the
Dumbrell.
one where I start the interview and all you can hear is Murphy just go, fucking hell.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the thing is like, Dad, yeah, I do remember that because he realizes that he's on camera and his face just dropped like.
Yeah, but Murphy was always like that though. That's the best part.
Yeah, he's upfront and genuine. Like, there's no bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
That was really unfortunate though, because that was that was one of the very last few races at Murphy. Because I remember
second to last with HRT.
Yeah, because I remember he did the 2014 Enduros, and then they didn't do too well, and then his last one was in 2020. No, sorry, 2022.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah, I think from memory, 2014 they had an absolutely dog shit of a weekend that he didn't even pretty much do any laps.
No, they did. They were actually up there before the halftime break because that's when the track was breaking up. But I think they were having electronic issues with the stick.
Yeah, they swapped it out.
So
Yeah,
they couldn't get any data. They couldn't get any data or anything, and the car's electronics kept playing up. And I think they finished a few laps down. So
yeah, it was Tander's car that didn't race.
Yeah,
he got on the they got on the podium at Sandown. I think both HRT.
I think Gold Coast was quite forgettable for them too.
I think so. Yeah, I think Wingcup won.
Wingcup won. He dominated that one.
I remember Merv and Courtney were definitely on the podium. Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's have a look.
No, I remember it was 2013. They literally, I think, Sandown, Bathurst, and Gold Coast. They just had.
Yeah. So yeah, Garth Tander finished P2. Scotty Mack Scotty Mack P3, Courtney in 5th. So there you go.
Well, Volvo on the podium at Sandown.
No, so that's qualifying you. Sorry, my bad.
Second place. Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, it was a HRT 2-3.
Yeah, I don't remember. I do not remember a Volvo on the podium at Sandown.
No, all I had to do was scroll up a little bit and it said qualifying. So my bad.
That was a year.
I was saying you recently got a commentator's gig.
Yeah. Yeah, where's our shout out? Where's
there
our
was a moment where I got so mad at myself because, obviously when you're on camera, you sort of forget things. To the point where I forgot who was driving for Matt Stone Racing. Like, I just had the mental blank and I'm like, fuck, who the fuck did that?
Maybe you should slide into Mark's. Maybe you should slide into Mark's Case DMs and he can give you some coaching tips because he's only on Motorsport 360 these days. So I'd say he's got a fair bit of free.
Well, I could maybe jump on there because Paul Kelly apparently isn't. So Paul Murray. Who am I think? Paul Kelly. No fuck.
Can I just ask a question?
Two first names.
Yeah. Can I just ask a quick question though? Motorsport 360. What were they thinking when they got James Phelps and Paul Murray to commentate?
I don't know. They ran out.
They literally just wanted to shit post and like piss people off. I reckon. I
got to say though, how good is Mark Scaife is actually quite enjoyable on there.
Oh,
He's
100%, yeah.
more free to say what he wants.
And I like it. Obviously, he was a bit stale as a commentator after a while, but he's just letting him just let loose is actually enjoyable.
Oh, exactly.
I think he's better suited to the panel as well. Like, you know, even when he's in the V Supercar coverage, I still reckon the best time, you know, he goes into detail about things is when he's on the panel. Because he's obviously got a shit ton of experience, you know, running a team, winning a few bathers and championships. He knows his stuff. But yeah, I think seeing him a bit unhinged is actually great to see because, yeah, he's carrying the show, man. He must be getting back problems.
Yeah, exactly.
As I say, I will go back into supercars. His assessment of Team 18, he dropped a few truth bombs in that statement. Like I said, we'll talk about supercars just briefly. Team 18 are not operating at the level they should for an homologation.
No, I still don't think they should have been chosen.
No, I personally don't think so. But again, who would they have given it? Like, as far as from what I can gather, Erebus didn't. The only other
Judging
option
by this season, judging by Erebus this season, they probably wouldn't have been happy with that either because they're dead last.
But the
It's
problem is
2013
though,
all over again.
yeah, but the problem is though, who would they have realistically given?
I still think Nulon because Roland Dane was part of that. Yeah, Premier. They would have, I reckon, been. But even then, like there hasn't been a single GM team that has deserved it really.
And to be fair, Team 18 are the best Chev team at the moment. If you look at it purely from the team standings, I think they're like 5th or something like that.
Yeah, but you wouldn't. The thing is, right, you don't actually know that they're the Chev team. Like, you just still think they're Team 18. Like, there's nothing special about them or unique.
No, it's like let's take the days of Holden Racing Team. You knew that was the homologation team. Or Ford Performance Racing, that was the Ford boys. And then you've got like then later it was DJR. Like, you knew that DJR was the team.
Yeah, they made it obvious, so you could easily tell.
They all had that feel, that aura about them. And then when you look at Team 18, they're just like, oh yeah, they're the homologation team for the Chevs, and you're just like, yeah.
The only thing they have going for them is the fact that they've got Craig Lowndes, and that is it. That's the only factory feel to Chev.
I guess they have Courtney as well. They do have some good people, but they just seem to not combine everything together well at the moment. And yeah, I mean, to be fair, they also did win a race in Sydney, and that was on pace. But really, it's just Anton carrying the team at the moment with the odd.
That was also 5 months ago.
Jesus Christ.
And mind you, 5 months ago was only 2 rounds ago.
Yeah.
Really?
No, really not. Probably 3.
No, because
I was saying, when was it?
6.
It was
Sydney
February.
was Feb. Yeah, it was first round.
We're in June. Oh my!
I know, but there's only been 5-6 rounds. We're 36% through the season. There's a good little review on that somewhere.
Calendar, that one. So basically, if Supercars show me what's actually happened already, which I have to go through every single page to get there.
Right.
We've had, since Sydney, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds. So I'm not that far off.
Yeah, it feels like, as I say, what was it, post round dump the other day, 36% of the way through the Supercars.
Had to be original, you know, like everyone else is doing buddy form guides or talking about rivalries.
I was going to say, I love the little Easter eggs that were put in the intro, though.
Yeah.
Both of you guys featured in there.
Cinema.
Seriously, though, like that picture of me from Queensland Raceway last year, like that image is never going to die. Didn't
your partner make a colouring in book for it?
She literally turns it into a colouring in thing. I'm just like, oh, for crying out bloody loud.
Maybe that could be our first bit of merch, like the Motorsport Mosh Pit colouring in book.
Yeah, for kids.
Yeah, for kids. For kids.
Yeah, but just one. Before we all spoke about it in the chat when it happened. Want to do it, but obviously we haven't had a chance to record. Obviously, like we said in the last couple of weeks since we last uploaded an episode, there has been some big moments in the motorsport. Obviously, everyone would know by now that it was tinged with sadness. We sadly lost Kyle Busch a few weeks. Yeah, just want to touch on that real quick. I was a big Kyle Busch fan, and obviously always he was one of the reasons I always had an understanding of NASCAR since I was thanks to obviously a lot of the racing games I grew up playing. They were very good at being well-known international. Yeah, I remember even playing as Kyle Busch or any Hendrix car, to be honest, back in the '07 version of the NASCAR game. So I was always a Kyle Busch or a Jimmy Johnson or a Jeff Gordon fan. Very, very, very sudden. He's quite sad, like obviously. Yeah, but I don't know what you guys' thoughts on him, but I think he was probably one of the best to steer a NASCAR, like or stock car. Sorry, like was it 234 race wins across the top three. Only 2 titles, but in the era where it was a lot harder with the playoff system. But yeah, I think that's a huge loss, not NASCAR, but motorsport in general. To be that dominant for so long and have that amount of success it's just that's not once in a generation. That's a once in a lifetime like talent.
Yeah, it was a big. It felt weird when it happened. Like it was like like you don't actually think it was real. It was a bit of a shock to the system. Like it took a couple days, maybe a week, a bit to actually realize that this actually happened. And then seeing the Coke 600, I believe it was the Coke, the Charlotte race, where they had a little tribute for him. Seeing his wife and his children there, it was a bit just shock. And I really just I feel for his family, especially Brexton, who now is back racing, and he's back on socials and back racing, and it is cool. Credit to RCR for basically giving Brexton a future in NASCAR, like guaranteeing him a spot basically with the number 8. So that'll be a pretty special moment when that happens. But yeah, it's similar to losing Brock, for example.
Oh,
had that similar feeling. He was so talented, and the fact that he won a few days before he passed as well, which that's the scary part. But it just shows how short and quick life is.
Oh,
yeah. I was quite surprised myself. I remember seeing it on socials, and I thought it was one of those like AI articles at first. I was just like, nah, surely not. The guy's, I think he was only in his 40s at the time, and and then I think one of you guys messaged me, and it was like, oh well, this has happened, and it was quite a surprise, and as you said, Dan, he won a race literally before he kicked the bucket. I mean, that's the way he would have gone out, in my opinion. Like that's the way you want to go out. And I'm probably not the biggest NASCAR fan in the world. I've probably only just started to fall in love with it recently. But I always played the games as a kid and things like that. And Kyle Busch is one of those names that you remember, like even outside the sport, everyone knew who he was and what he was doing. And,
everyone remembers the M&M livery. Like everyone remembers the iconic yellow M&M. That I remember that.
Probably
Gran Turismo as well when they brought NASCAR.
Yeah. It's probably the most iconic Camry in the world. Maybe apart from a white Camry with a tissue box in the partial shelf.
That's the only thing Kyle's color. Yeah, I'm the same as you both. So it was actually that because I followed Kyle on all his socials, and like again, apart from SVG, he was one of the reasons I watched NASCAR, even though he hadn't been doing well in the Cup Series for the last few. They announced that morning our time that he was in hospital. He was going to miss this weekend's action. He's fallen ill, and I thought, that sucks. And like he hadn't been having the greatest season up until that point in the Cup Series. Won a few races but I thought, and I just remember sitting there reading that post and thinking, poor bugger, like he's bad luck just continue. Then it was about 2 hours later, someone in the group chat had shared that he died. I'm just like I thought it was fake. So I ended up starting like frantically Google searching, saying like, no, like he's only just in hospital. This can't be real. And it said no, every post saying Kyle Busch dead. I just sat there in shock, to be honest. Like I was like, what? Yeah. You're right. It was very much similar to, because I remember where I was exactly when I heard that Peter Brock. Like I could take you back to that exact spot right now if I. And the same with. It's kind of odd, even though these are people you most likely have never met. You don't know them from a bar of soap personally because you just see them on TV or through social media and what. But there were still people you looked up to, kind of like your heroes in sport. And when they pass, is like you kind of sit there and just think, oh man, that's you kind of do get a little bit emotional, like someone you followed and supported for so long, and then just suddenly they're not there. And so yeah, like it was a bit of a, but yeah, my first thought was immediately his family, and then but also because I've been following his son Brexton's over the last couple of years because now He's now in Legend. I think from memory, he's in Legend cars, but he's also at 11 years old. He's driving like
Yeah.
11-year-old
And doing
driving
pretty
a late,
decently too.
11-year-old driving a late model. Like, I'm sorry, that is in. So I've got really high hopes for that kid, and I really hope. I'm hoping as much as his father was his biggest fan and his coach, but I'm hoping that this deter or steer him away from his goal and dream of racing, because I think once that kid makes it to wherever he wants, whether it be NASCAR or anything else, I think he's just going to go out there and kick everyone's. Like, that is Rowdy 2.0.
He definitely will be in NASCAR in the coming years. Like, he now also has Kurt as well, of course, mentoring him as well now. I think he's helping Brexton a lot now that unfortunately Kyle's gone. But I did remember reading or hearing a thing, Kyle, when Brexton was going to turn 15, he was actually going to retire from cup racing and go to trucks full time.
Yeah, I did hear that.
And unfortunately, we never got to see that, but because he was really excited to win a truck series, just a title.
Yeah, because that's the only championship.
Because he won. He was so good in because correct me if I'm wrong. Was it the Cup Series or the O'Reilly Series where he was so good, but he NASCAR changed the minimum age? I think that was Cup, wasn't it?
No, I think it was O'Reilly.
Okay, yeah.
The Xfinity Series, because I think they had. I think it's similar to a Max Verstappen situation where they were so good at such a young age they changed the. Or it might have been when he got. I know it was when he got into either trucks or Xfinity, because I think he was only like 16.
I reckon it was. I reckon it was Xfinity, because I don't remember it being a truck, but he was mighty quick. And Brexton definitely is doing that already. He's doing really well, especially in Legends. You know, he's a very fast kid. So, and the fact that he's only 11, you know, he's still got a very bright future. And it's cool actually already, because obviously we've got Cole Larson's children as well racing. Like, you already see the next generation ready to go. You can kind of see what the future looks like. So
that's crazy to think about, 11, 12 years old. Like, at the time when most people were getting their first pubes, he's out there winning bloody races. It's insane to watch.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really cool to see though. Like, it's showing that like even younger kids now are just showing that like they're going to be rising stars. I just want to ask you both. Like, I was talking Kyle's career and whatnot. What was a standout moment for you in his career? Like, I know what mine is. That's one from following his racing career. I know that Macca, you said you haven't followed NASCAR for too long, as much as probably what Dan and I. But what's a standout moment for you, and what he actually meant to?
Well, a recent one was when he went boxing with Stenhouse last year or the year before. That was
I remember that.
That was a key moment. But no, probably his second Cup title. Because I haven't followed, I don't follow it as much as you, Feven. But yeah, his last Cup title, I reckon, to be mine.
I think just from my perspective, just probably not necessarily a moment, but just the M car, I think just as iconic now. Like, the M in Toyota, like when I think it's one of those liveries when you resonate with a driver, and it doesn't happen often. You kind of think of Brock, you think of the Marlboro liveries, and when you look at someone like Busch, think of the M&M Camry. Like, it's just iconic, Yeah,
it really is a standout.
Nah, well put. Me personally, like we just said before, like 230 something wins across the top 3 tiers, the 2 titles, like they're pretty standout moments. But it's actually 2, but it matches into 1. But you'll understand because he's the only driver to win in all 3 categories on the same week. And he did it. So he won the truck race, won the Xfinity race, and the Cup race all in the same.
Yeah, not many people can do that.
Yeah, I think he's the only one to ever do it, and he did it. And I remember because I remember like one of the years he posted a couple of years ago, he gave a garage tour, and he actually had all those cars sitting up on. And the one cool thing I liked, especially like his championship winners or his 200th win car, I think that was in Cup Series. The cars were actually, as they finished the race, like even covered with like Coca-Cola confetti or shit they'd spray on me. People say to me, clean the car. He's just like, no, that's how it finished its race. It's never racing again. Keep it dirty.
No, it's pretty, I don't think we're going to see anyone like him for a while.
I don't think we'll see it again.
No, and it's still weird to even think he's not there now.
Yeah. Do you think he's like the last of that like era? Because I guess like, it feels like NASCAR's kind of moved into a completely different era in the past few years.
Certainly is, last of the old breed racing.
Because, you've got like your Earnhardts and your Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson and those people, they're all kind of have retired or whatnot. And
Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon. Like,
Yeah.
I guess there's kind of that new generation that have come in and started to push things, and obviously people like Van Gisbergen have popped in there as well. There's this whole new generation. I guess they're still building their reputation. Like, you see someone like Connor Zilic and things like that. Like, it'll be interesting to see how they kind of shape the future and what kind of characters will come out.
I'm curious to see what Brexton's going to be like in the future, if he's going to be similar to his dad in terms of from a driver perspective. So it's going to be interesting, but we're going to have to wait and see with that one, obviously. But no, I agree. It's definitely, you don't really, I reckon he was like the last one, like the Alonso, for example, like still competing, and he wasn't actually he was still in it too. He was actually all right. He wasn't like sort of losing his edge in any way. So it's just a real shame.
Yeah.
I've also, speaking of NASCAR, before we finish up, I drove their new San Diego streets track that they're racing next week. God, it is bumpy. Yeah, on iRacing, yeah. It is bumpy as anything.
So is Van Gils going to win?
Yep, probably. Yeah, there's no doubt.
I'm pretty sure that he had some input in the design of the track as well.
Yeah, it's like, I'll go faster around here if you build it like this.
Yeah.
It's probably why there's all the bumps in there.
I know a driver who could probably be. I was just saying, I heard Todd Maycock is really good on street.
Nah, good old Barry McCockiner is pretty good. He's doing well in the truck series.
No, Hugh Janus is tearing it up in Xfinity at the moment, so he's not going to lure the cup.
Well, it's just good to hear that there's all these three, up and coming drivers coming through the ranks, and hopefully they make it to Cup and show Van Gisbergen how it's really done.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Obviously, it has been a hot minute since we last did a episode, but with that being said, if you did enjoy this, be sure to like and subscribe and follow if you haven't yet, and we'll see you next month for another episode, probably.
Or maybe not.
Thanks, Feven. Thanks, Macca. Or next year as well. It will still be before Supercars, so there you go. So,
and always remember to drink your milk.
Drink your milk. Calcium, kids. Look after your calcium. But thanks for watching, and grab your nearest milk near you now and just scuffle that down.
And follow Todd Maycock on socials.
All right. Goodbye. We're going to get sued. We'll see you in court.